All right, you're looking at my hand. I'm going to draw in a fashion my hand. And this is going to be what we call a blind contour drawing. A contour, you'll recall, is a line that describes an edge. A blind contour is a drawing that's done when you're looking at your subject. In this case, it's going to be my hand, but you're not looking at the paper at all. That's the blind part. So I'm going to start following the edges of my hand with the pencil and trying to record the edges. And I'll probably start somewhere here in the middle of my hand. And I'll slowly follow, looking at every curve and imperfection of the edge. And I'm actually would probably draw it more slowly than the illustration I'm making here. And then I get here and it kind of ends, and so maybe I come up here, and so now I'm looking at an edge that's on the outside of my hand, but you're going inside, you're going outside, you're following from one to another. And I'm only drawing edges. I go in one direction with the line. I start at one end and I just keep going until I reach the place that it's going to either turn off or terminate. You're only drawing edges that you could physically touch. We're not concerned with effects of light and dark at this point. So it's only the physical edges that you could physically touch. It's only with line. We're not trying to tone anything in. The lines are going in one direction only, following slowly the edge, even more slowly than I'm going to show you in this video. Now, how do I not look at the paper? I take my hand away and I place it so far behind me that there's no possible way that I can see the drawing sheet while I'm looking at my hand. I would have to swing my head almost 180 degrees to be able to see the paper. So I'm going to start. I'm following one of the lines in the center of my hand, center of my palm, trying to record every curve, every change in direction, keeping the pencil pushed down, moving in one direction from one end of the edge to the next. And I see this particular edge ends right about here. So I'm going to hop up to another edge that's nearby and do the same thing with that one. Then that ends. So I'll find another one. I'll just sort of guess where this might be in relation to the other two. I'm not expecting this to look like a picture of a hand. If your hand is fairly close to your face, you might find it easier to close one eye when you're doing this. Now, there are these theories that are in some popular literature about different functions in the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain. There's a famous book called Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain that tries to claim that, or does claim that there's sort of different way of looking that's attached to a different hemisphere of the brain. I don't know anything about the science. But I do know if I really slow down and I'm really concentrating on observing edges, it does become more difficult for me to talk. So maybe there's something to it. Again, I'm, believe it or not, actually speeding this process up a little bit for purposes of the video. What you really want to do is get involved discovering these edges, things that you maybe never even noticed before. It's almost as if you're touching the edge with the tip of the pencil. You're looking at your hand, you're not looking at the paper, but you're looking very intently at these different edges that you see. Physical edges. Again, we're not concerning ourselves with light and shadow. Physical edges that you could touch. Okay. This is just the beginning, really, of a drawing. And if anyone were to ask you to draw a hand, it wouldn't look like that. What it maybe begins to look like is a record of your, or in this case, my, process of looking, of observation, of intensely trying to find edges, those physical edges you can touch. Something else I don't think I mentioned that I want to is you want to just treat all edges the same in terms of the weight of the pencil mark. Just keep pressing down the same weight on every line. So this could go on even longer. And if you are uncomfortable taking some time to do this, I think it's really important to do more of it. This is crucial to be able to teach yourself to slow way down and observe the shapes that are really in front of you. And ideally, you get to a point where the frustration of slowing down so much to draw something you think you already know what it is gives way to a kind of pleasure in the sort of discovery and the meditative nature of the process, and maybe you kind of lose track of time. That's a good idea. But you can do this. You can practice this. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You could even start a little timer if you want to set set a goal, set a little chunk of time aside for you to just focus on this. And the more you do this, um, it's going to help in surprising ways any other kind of drawing you do. It's going to add a kind of clarity and intensity, as well as a better ability to observe proportions and perspective and such, even though this seems like it's just a messy tangle of lines.